Hi everyone, I wanted to put this video together to answer some questions that I've seen online a lot. What class should I pick? Why should I choose Sorcerer? Why should I choose Rogue? Blah blah blah. I'm gonna go Sorcerer myself, so I just put together a few reasons why I am going Sorcerer, and I'm gonna just put it out there to the world, and if anyone resonates with it, then maybe they'll choose Sorcerer as well, or maybe not. But here's why I'm choosing Sorcerer. So Sorcerer has received multiple buffs, significant buffs to Hydra. They went from like 12% damage to like 66% damage. It's a massive buff. Chain Lightning and Fireball and Incinerate all received big buffs between this season and last season. The new vampiric powers are really bringing damage over time effects to the fore. Vulnerable and crit have taken a big nerf, so that means we can spec into other damage types now instead of just being pigeonholed to only going for vul and crit builds. So Sorcerer has a lot of access to proc burning really easily. Like, they have so much access to burning, and I think this is going to be an incredible build. I have a build here I'm going to go over in a minute as well. If anyone wants a specific build for the Sorc that they're wondering, like, oh, I don't want to just go to Sorc, I want to know what to do. So the Inferno ultimate it's very satisfying to use. It's a huge fiery snake that wraps around enemies and pulls them all in and creates massive burning. Really satisfying to use, and with now the new vampiric powers, we have some buffs to ultimate cooldown, so we should be able to proc this more often. And there's the new unique boots, Flicker Step, which also give more reduction to ultimate cooldown. So they're really trying to push use your ultimates, because nobody was really using ultimates that much except for Grizzly Rage. So Sorcs, they're incredibly fast for leveling. The getting out of World Tier 1 and 2 is incredibly fast. I've seen people do it in like an hour and a half. Check out Rax's video that he put up there today. It's crazy. He did like an hour and a half to like level 36 or 40 or something like that. But yeah, the new content starts in World Tier 3, the new bosses and everything. So the faster you can get to start that new content, the more the new season's impact is going to be felt. Mainly, the new bosses and everything like that, all that new stuff that's coming for season 2. Another good reason to go for Sorc is they have incredible mobility, like teleporting all over the map, super speed. They're probably only behind Rogues for their mobility, really. Like, they can zoom in and out around, especially if you get the Oculus unique wand that gives you the teleport enchantment for free, and basically turns your evade into another teleport. Also, the theme of Sorc is very interesting to me. I like the whole elementalist, the controller of the elements, firecaster, that kind of whole thing, shields and everything. I just like the theme around sorcerers. And now as well, finally, resistances have been changed. So one of the biggest gripes that everyone had about Sorc last season was they were so squishy. They just don't have any armor, so that there was no defense in the higher tiers of Nightmare Dungeons. But now resistances have changed, and they are an intelligence class. So that means naturally they are going to be able to get their resistances to the max level really fast, and they have even passives that will allow them to increase their maximum resistances as well. So they really have an advantage in the resistance department over other classes. Okay, so let's look at the build that I've been cooking up, theorizing for Sorc. I'm calling it my critical burn build. So for season 2, I'm going to be trying to run a damage over time build for the Sorcerer. This is an endgame build that I've theorized that really takes advantage of the abundance of burning that Sorcs can apply with all skills, not just fire skills. So the key synergies here that tie the build together are our ultimate ability, which is getting buffed by the vampiric powers. They also buff our damage over time effects. Paragon nodes and glyphs, which have had some improvements because of all the burning, we'll be getting a ton of bonus damage and bonus defense as well. What really makes it all click together is the firebolt enchantment. This is what makes all of your skills, all your damaging skills, apply burning. So let's start with the vampiric powers. So I've gone for anticipation first. I think this is going to be a popular one. Anticipation gives you 20% cooldown on all your ultimates. Your ultimate skills also gain 12% increased damage for every nearby enemy affected by your damage over time effects. So if you're in a big crowd of enemies and they're all burning, you're getting a ton of extra damage. So our ultimates can be proccing really frequently, allowing us to have, also when our ultimate is up, we get free casts of Hydra and free casts of our Firewall. All of our fire skills become mana free while the ultimate is up. So then we can spam our mana heavy skills. Flowing Veins next. Flowing Veins, we deal 60% increased damage over time to enemies that are either moving or affected by Vampiric Curse. So enemies are nearly always moving. There's very little that stands still, maybe some bosses. But if we can get some Vampiric Curses on them, then we won't have to worry about that anyway. So that's why we have Metamorphosis, which is helping our evade again, so even more mobility. And when we phase through enemies, we're applying Vampiric Curse as well. Undying, this one we could change possibly, but just giving us that extra bit of healing whenever we're casting our skills could be nice. If we find that we're a bit tanky, we can probably change this for something else. And then Accursed Touch. This one's just an extra bit of applying Vampiric Curse and the extra bit of damage that we might get from the Accursed Souls. We don't really know how this is going to interact. This one could be possibly changed as well if it doesn't turn out to be good. So the skills that we're going to be using are Arc Lash, Teleport, the newly buffed Hydra, Ice Blades, our Ultimate Inferno, and Firewall. You might be asking, why Arc Lash and Ice Blades? Well, in this build, the skills that we're applying will burn even if they're lightning damage or ice damage. So that's no problem. But there's two reasons why we want other elements. So one is there's a passive called Potent Warding, which will raise our maximum resists of the element of the skill that we use for a few seconds. And the other reason is the glyph Elementalist. I'll show you this glyph. So here, when we're dealing fire, cold, and lightning damage to an enemy, we increase all of the damage that is dealt by an extra 5% per element. So we can get this up to a max of 15%. So all we have to do is cast Arc Lash and we get extra damage bonus for 10 seconds. Cast Ice Blades, extra damage bonus. Cast any of our fire skills, extra damage bonus. And then we can just keep on cycling every 10 seconds, just using one little quick Arc Lash, and you have the bonus. Speaking of Paragon boards, the legendary node Burning Instinct has been updated to multiplicatively increase our damage. So now we're getting 10% of the critical strike damage bonus and an extra percent of multiplicative damage for every 75 intelligence that we have. So we're really able to scale our burning damage with this build. And we're going to be burning so much. There's so many nodes here. We're going to be getting damage reduction to enemies that are burning. Bonus damage. There's tons of stuff on this board. I'm going to put a link in the description below for anyone who wants to really. I'm not going to go through every single Paragon node, but you can have a look yourself and see if it's for you, and it's all there. So onto the gear. One of the pieces that I think is going to be really useful is Esu's Heirloom. These boots, they give us critical strike chance as a percentage of our movement speed, which is really good because I'm going to be going for movement speed on our amulet, and the boots also give you movement speed, so it's your total movement speed, not just your base. These boots also give you critical strike damage, so that will help to scale our burning damage as well. We'll be trying to get critical strike damage on other areas as well, but what's good about these boots as well is you can farm these boots from a Varshan, which he appears in World Tier 3. So from early on, we can actually go and target and get these boots for our build. So it's not like, oh, it didn't drop for me. You can go and try and find it. Same goes for Raiment of the Infinite. This chest piece is going to be really nice. We're going to be teleporting a lot in this build. So every time we teleport now, we're going to be pulling our enemies in and stunning them. So, if enemies are stunned, they can't damage you. So it's going to increase our survivability overall, and it's always nice to have enemies stunned. The serpentine aspect is giving our hydras an extra cast. So usually you can only have one hydra out at a time, but with this aspect you can have 2 hydras. So this is going to really increase your single target damage. And then the newly revamped aspect of engulfing flames. So you're going to deal an additional 10 to 30% bonus burning damage to enemies who are below 50% total life, and 80 to 100% if they are affected by more damage over time than their total life. So this could really help to ramp the damage. And if you want to see, I've put in the kind of the aspects that I'm kind of looking for across on all stuff as well. I'll be in the description. Just go into the link below and you'll find it. You can go straight to this build and see everything for yourself. Really looking forward to seeing how this is going to pan out. I'm really excited for season 2. I can't wait to see how it fares out in reality. Let's go.